Okay, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another exciting episode of Tech Talk, where we're keeping you updated. My name is Jonathan Nindi, and I'm gonna be your host today and beyond. And for the new people that are coming new for the first time to the channel, I'd like to welcome y'all. And if you haven't done so already, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button. For those that have already been subscribed and have been enjoying our content, thank you so much for staying tuned. And we're gonna make sure we keep providing you valuable content. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tech Talk. Okay, so on today's episode, we're going to talk about one of the most recent events that happened about a week ago, and that is the annual Apple event that happens on an annual basis. And basically, this time of the year, Apple is letting the world know these are the products that we're putting out. So this year's event 2023 was termed the Wanderlust event. And so basically Apple put out two new products in the form of the Apple Watch Series 9 as well as the iPhone 15 range of phones. And so we might as well start off with the Apple Watch Series 9, which is the next step in the Apple Watch series. And yeah, basically it's an upgrade from the previous Apple Watch Series 8. This one is the Series 9, and it has some pretty unique features. Apple keeps redefining the norm when it comes to making quality and useful smart watches, and the Series 9 is nothing different. And you've got all the usual functions of your watch, that is being able to monitor your vitals, that is your heart rate, your blood temperature, your heart rate, your temperature, and many other vital signs that basically can help with monitoring your health. And another feature that's very interesting, that I found very unique to the Apple Watch Series 9, is so it has this very interesting feature whereby you're able to do this tap gesture with your index finger and your thumb. And what happens is, so the watch is configured in such a way that it's able to recognize when you do it, and it's able to basically perform a task that you assign to it. So I mean, in the case that maybe your right hand is occupied and you want to use your watch, and you're not able to reach it at the time, you basically just tap and it's able to recognize this, and according to the task that you've wired it to be able to perform at the tap of your finger, it's able to do that. Pretty unique, if you ask me. And these guys keep redefining what the Apple Watch is able to do. So also in the same vein, Apple also revealed the Apple Watch Ultra 2, which is the second edition of the Apple Watch Ultra version. Now the Ultra 2 also just basically is like a maxed out version of the Apple Watch, because and this Ultra version is basically tailored to people that really do intensive activities, such as like mountain bike riding, or maybe if you're a cliff what do they call it, cliff hanging, is it cliff climbing, I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, as well as people that do like bike riding, that kind of a thing. So the Apple Watch Ultra 2 is basically tailored for those really intensive or extra energy consuming kind of activities that you want to basically venture into. It's like it's a workhorse, I can say that. Like it's the ultimate partner in you wanting to do those kind of activities. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get to the big one, and the big one has to be the revelation of the iPhone 15. So now the iPhone 15 comes in we have four devices that are basically unveiled here. We have the iPhone 15, we have the iPhone 15 Plus, Then we have the iPhone 15 Pro, and lastly we have the iPhone 15 Pro Max. So what's new? Well, what's new is the iPhone 15. Let's start with the iPhone 15 and iPhone 15 Plus. So the iPhone 15 and the iPhone 15 Plus both have an upgrade of the camera. So now you have a 48 megapixel camera, yes, to take those great photos with the iPhone. I mean, we know iPhone for taking great photos, and this upgrade of a new bigger camera means you're going to be taking some great images. And also preview to that is so the new iPhone also comes with this very interesting new feature where it's able to recognize and actually make a picture into a portrait. Now, you know, like how it is before, you would always have to, you know, switch to portrait mode to take a portrait kind of image. Now, the new iPhone is able to pick when you take a picture that's worthy of being a portrait, and it puts it in that mode, which is pretty cool if you ask me. So the new camera is 48 MP on the iPhone 15, and this is across the range of the new iPhones that have been released by Apple. Moving on, so to partner this 48 MP camera, we have the A17 Bionic chip that is found on the Apple on the iPhone 15 and 15 Plus. And if you remember last year's edition, the iPhone 15, the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max actually had this A16 Bionic chip. It looks like it's going to be the basic standard now, because the iPhone 15 and iPhone 15 Plus both running the A16 Bionic chip. So other notable features to talk about is the iPhone 15 has a noise cancellation feature, and so this feature basically helps with canceling noise when you're having like a call. So there are times, you know, when you're on a call and it's just so noisy, like it's busy all over, and you can't really, you know, like get what the other person's saying, and the quality of the call is really distorted. So the iPhone 15 actually has this feature whereby you can basically cancel out the noise and isolate your call, and you can now communicate clearly. Like, okay, that's cool. That's really cool, you know, because, you know, I do have those instances where you're really trying to say something, and because of the noise, you can't really get what the other person is saying. So the iPhone 15 has a noise cancellation feature, which is a pretty cool. Moving on, another feature to talk about is, since the iPhone 14, Apple had actually unveiled that the next range of smartphones are going to be having satellite services. And so last year they actually revealed that the iPhones were now going to be having a crash detection feature, whereby in case you're in a car crash, the phone is able to detect that you are in a car crash, and they're able to phone emergency services on your behalf, which is pretty neat. But get this, the iPhone 15 now has this feature whereby you can not only have it have crash, not only does it have crash detection, it can also provide roadside service roadside service assistance services. And so, well, roadside assistance services are basically, you know, like if you have a flat tire and many other things that you would want if you have to call like your roadside assistance provider for in case of any emergencies that you have on the road. So in addition to the crash detection, now it can actually also help you get in touch with your roadside assistance service provider. I don't even know how that's gonna work here really, but yeah, that's the other feature that you should know about. And so, top of the agenda, ladies and gentlemen, obviously is the biggest change on the iPhone, and that is the Type-C charger. So yes, you heard me correct. The iPhone 15, or should I say, all iPhones starting with the iPhone 15 going forward, are going to be having a Type-C charge port. So and you might be wondering, because I mean, we've had the lightning cable since the creation of the iPhones, and man, those things get spoiled so easily. You change so many of them. It's like one of those things, one of the accessories that a lot of iPhone users get to buy. Like it's I don't know, it easily gets damaged, and it's one of those things that really makes the iPhone stand out. But lo and behold, ladies and gentlemen, starting with the iPhone 15 going forward, we're all going to be using the same Type-C charger. Yes, iPhone users, you're not going to be having this hassle of, you're in a place and you ask for an iPhone charger, a lightning cable, and everyone's just like, no, I don't have that. And iPhone users, for the longest time, have always had this thing of, oh, I can't use your charger because I'm using a lightning cable. Well, welcome to the real world. We're all now going to be using the same kind of charger. Now, what has necessitated this? Because this is a big thing. iPhones have always been known to be using a cable other than the normal USB and that kind of a thing. But what has necessitated this? Well, it looks like you're going to have to thank the Europeans for this big change. So this is a story that's actually been brewing for quite some time. So the European Union and the member countries of that particular part of the world actually had been pushing for us having standard cabling. And so this is something that really had been, Apple had been considering, and well, it looks like they've been forced to basically adopt the Type-C kind of chargers because everybody else is using them. Every modern smartphone is using Type-C. And so Apple really doesn't have a choice here, and they're going to have to change. And this is something that we've seen. And so starting with the iPhone 15, we're going to all be using Type-C chargers. No more fussing about, oh, I can't use your charger because I'm using an iPhone. Bruh, we're all going to be using the same charger. And I guess it's a good thing. Yes, the iPhone users may not like it because they're not unique anymore, but I mean, it's a good thing now because you don't have to worry about having to buy a different charger every time maybe you lose it or you forget it somewhere. You can simply ask for a Type-C charger, which has become a bit of a standard right now. Okay, so that's the iPhone 15 and iPhone 15 Plus. Let's talk about the iPhone Pro and the iPhone Pro Max, because this is like, the bigger phone, the bigger phone, the bigger version of the iPhone now. And so some of the features that come now with the iPhone 15 Pro and the iPhone 15 Pro Max is, first of all, the first thing is the iPhone 15 and iPhone 15, the iPhone Pro and iPhone 15-ish, okay, let's just call it the Pro and the Pro Max now come in a new titanium body. Yes, so the new phones are now being made with a new material that is the titanium material. And titanium is a pretty unique and surprisingly light metal that they are using on the Pro and a Pro Max. So first things first, the body is different because they're using a different metal. Yeah. And the next thing to talk about the Pro and the Pro Max is they are both running an A17 Bionic chip. So as we spoke about previously, the 15 and 15 Plus are both running A16 Bionic chip. The Pro and the Pro Max get a bump up. They're running the A17 Bionic chip, which just gives it some honestly ridiculously powerful processing chip, because now the GPU and the processing on this thing are just, they're out of this world. That's all I can say. The new chip is really taking it to another level when it comes to giving you very good performance on this thing, the graphics performance, and like the video resolution, everything on this, because of this A17 chip, is just off the scale. And to top it off, to go with that A17 Bionic chip, you have a bigger battery on the Pro and Pro Max. And so you're talking about at least 26 hours on your battery on a bigger, it has a bigger battery, so it goes longer. And last but not the least, the other feature to talk about is the Pro and Pro Max comes with the action button. So these on the Pro and Pro Max, we're replacing that action button that was previously just used for switching your iPhone to silent to a bit of a multifunctional kind of button, because now you're able to decide what you want your action button to be able to do. As of before, you were only able to do one thing, which is switch it back and forth for you to activate silent mode. Now you can actually decide whether or not you want it to be for the silent mode, or you want it to be a torch, or you want it to be for taking a camera. So, like, it's multi-purpose now. You can decide what really it's going to be able to do. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the iPhone 15 Pro and iPhone 15 Pro Max features that you are looking ahead to. So, now that we've spoken about what's new, let's also talk about what's not new. Well, what's not new is Dynamic Island, which was introduced in the iPhone 14. Well, that's gonna be a standard in all the iPhone 15 range of devices, and so it's nothing new. If you've got an iPhone 14 Pro Max, you probably have the Dynamic Island. Come to the 15 range of devices, the Dynamic Island is the basic. It's the norm. Every phone in this range has the Dynamic Island. And maybe just another thing to mention, the Bionic chip that's on the 14 Pro and Pro Max, which is A16, is now the basic in the 15 range. So it's really nothing new. And if you don't mind me saying, the body of these iPhones from the 14 to the 15, well, doesn't really seem like that many change. Yes, there are a few bezels design in the way it sits, but I think if you look at it from the 14 and 15, the difference really isn't really that noticeable. But well, it's really nothing new, And so, ladies and gentlemen, that's all about the devices that were unveiled at the Wonderlust event by Apple. Well, let's get to the big thing, which is the price. So starting with the iPhone 15 and iPhone 15 Plus. So the iPhone 15 is coming at $799. The iPhone 15 so the iPhone 15 is going for $799, which translates to about 16,400 kwacha looking at the current rates. You have the iPhone 15 Plus coming in at $899, which translates to about 18,450 kwacha as per the dollar rate. You have the iPhone 15 Pro, which is running at $1099, which translates to about $22,500. And we have the iPhone 15 Pro Max, which is coming in at $1199, which is 24,600 kwacha. So that's how much it's gonna cost for you to be able to get this new range of phones. Also, there's always the deal that Apple throws in to say if you want to exchange your phone, you basically save more, because if you take your iPhone 15, if you take your iPhone 14 or anything less than that, you basically just have to top up. Provided that your phone is in good condition, you can simply swap and top up. What's the verdict? What do we think about it? Well, I think it's pretty neat. But if I'm gonna be honest, I'd say that it feels like they've just taken these new features, they've added these new features and actually upgraded some of the features, and they've simply packaged it together and brought to us the iPhone 15. Why do I say so? Because, well, most of the features, like I said, are nothing new. And we've only gone from this to that to that. Most of the features that I spoke about. And so it really does feel like they just put these features together and they gave us this new phone. Somebody that has the iPhone 15, iPhone 14, well, they're almost the same as the iPhone 15, only that there are few upgrades that they've done. So why does it feel like we're really not really changing a lot of things? Well, it looks like the innovation part of it has somewhat stifled on the iPhone range of devices. We're not really seeing very, very new like innovations like this out of this world kind of things as we're accustomed to. It just feels like you're just adding to another and then you put it out there. And so, even though it looks like Apple isn't really changing much on the iPhones, you'll be surprised to know that they're still making sales. And I mean, right now, they stand to be one of the most valuable companies in the world with a net worth of about close to $3 trillion, the only company to do this. And why do they still remain one of the most valuable companies, if not the most valuable company in the world? Well, the secret is Apple doesn't just sell products. What do I mean by this? Yeah, Apple doesn't just sell products. They actually sell feelings. Anybody that owns an Apple iPhone watch or Apple iPhone basically gets this really, really nice feeling. They're put out there to be one of the most luxurious phones in the world. And so when you're getting, and for somebody that actually owns an iPhone, there's this thing, there's this oomph about owning an iPhone. So there's this it's more or less a status symbol, to a lot of people. Really wealthy people own them, and so sometimes it feels like if you own an iPhone, you're also in that class, and so that's what I mean by those guys don't just sell products, they actually sell feelings, because they actually make you feel some type of way. And iPhone users, yes, I know you agree with me. And so, that's sort of their unique selling point. They don't just sell products, they actually sell feelings. And so, although sometimes, having looked at, the way the smartphone industry is now, it's way more competitive because you have these releases of these phones are more or less on a yearly basis. You have Apple, you have Samsung, you have Google Pixel fighting it out all the time, trying to bring out the most advanced, perfect phone. But sometimes it starts to feel like it's a rat race, because we had the S20, now we have the S21, then we had the S22, now we're anticipating the S23 if it's already out. And you have the Google Pixel 6, which was pretty cool. You have the 7, which is also pretty awesome. We're anticipating the 8, and it seems like we're just going, forward with this. There's not really too much in terms of innovation, that's going on. We're just adding to what's already there, building on it, and on to the next one. So sometimes it kind of feels like a rat race, like we keep running after something, but we're not really changing much, And so anyway, that's basically it for today's show. And so let us know what you think about the new iPhone products that were released, the Apple Watch Series 9, as well as the iPhone 15. Tell us what you think about it. Do you think it's really something new, or is it just same old, same old? We've just added new features and boom. Would like to know what your feedback is and what your opinion is on this. So that's it for today's show, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jonathan Nindi. I'm your host. If you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button, and so we can be making more videos to keep you updated. Ciao.